Hello, Facebook darlings. It's Adora, your girl talk expert and coach to the sacred woman and the sacred man. I'm just going to make sure this is sharing on my page. I want to talk to you about self-forgiveness versus self-forgiveness versus, I'm going to get there, I'm trying to share this and it just so shows. So self-forgiveness versus embracing the self. So first of all, is there anything that you feel like, yeah, I should forgive myself for blah, 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 for these thoughts, for not keeping my diet, for yelling at my child, for thinking, something? Is there somewhere that you need to forgive yourself? And if so, I just want to talk about it a little bit, because here's the thing. We all have shadows and have a shadow side. And actually, the shadow side is a beautiful, divine part of ourself. We have dark, we have light, just like the nature around us does. And I can tell you, in my early years, I spent a lot of time hating my shadow side. So, I was very spiritual and still am, had some high ideals for myself. And then I would also have some experiences or feelings toward other things that seemed to be quite opposing. And, in my early years, I really judged myself for thinking outside of the box that I thought was ideal and beautiful. And then I would spend so much time hating myself, molding myself, and trying to resist whatever the thing was. And so what would end up happening, and I'll use diet because it's the least, I'm going to give you more examples. Hi, whoever's live with me, say hello. So I'm just talking about, I'll use diet first. So, I'm committed to a certain healthy lifestyle, but then something would happen and I'd go on this sugar binge or some other, chips and salsa crazy binge. And then while it's happening, I'm thinking, I hate myself. This is not what I said I would do. Why do I keep doing this? I don't have any self-control, blah, blah, blah. Well, and that's just would amplify the whole thing and have me doing even more of the thing that I don't want to do, right? And then I get clear, I get focused. I'm like, I'm only going to do these things. I'm no longer that undisciplined, crazy person who can't control her food urges. And then bam, it was like yo-yo, just like this. I'd be up and down, up and down, up and down. One moment really, proud of myself, thinking I'm gonna do it this time. I'm gonna eat a certain way, do a certain thing, behave a certain perfect way. And then the next moment, just self-loathing, totally surrendered to the thing that I said that I would not surrender to, feeling terrible about myself. And here's what I've learned about shadows and things like that for me, integrating my inner binge girl, integrating my girl who loves dark chocolate and loves to indulge in delicious, naughty foods, and loving myself and loving that part of myself has actually allowed years of not the yo-yo, but stable weight, stable health, stable eating, because I'm enjoying both sides of myself. So instead of alienating one part of me, and then in that alienation, when you alienate a part of yourself, it's like you're creating this polar way of being, this polarity inside of your being, rather than thinking of that yin-yang kind of dark and light, harmony and, sexual temptress and divine mother, wild and free and controlled and disciplined. The truth is that we have all of that. And so whenever you integrate, whenever you look at your shadows, you look at these places that seem dark or mysterious or wild, unruly, disobedient, renegade, when you look at those things and allow space for them rather than trying to beat them out of yourself, or rather than judging, becoming this, big judger to yourself, you have more ability to experience what it's there for. What is the shadow there for? So shadows to me aren't something to heal. They're not something to release. They're something to dive into and go, I celebrate this. What is this? What's it here for? What does it represent in me? What is this divine part of me that's a little villain or a little rebellious or a little devilish, or what is this here for? Celebrate it, dive into it, look at it, and then when you're looking at it, go, okay, how can I express this? How can I give it a channel? Do I want to write it, dance it, love make it, role play it? Do I need to go have an adrenaline adventure? Do I need to, what can I do to celebrate it? And the last thing I want to say is that I think I meet a lot of people who say, I just need to forgive myself for not being all that I said I would be, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Self-forgiveness is a wonderful thing. And I also think that it can be a very condemning thing, because when you say I'm going to forgive myself for something, that is already loaded with there's something to forgive. I'm not good enough. I'm wrong. I still didn't get it right. I keep making mistakes. I have to forgive myself for being effed up, when in reality, or going to that next level would be, so forgiveness would be a great starting point, but the next level to raise your frequency would be to embrace, to go, I love that. I love that about you. I love that I'm learning. I love that I'm developing. I love that I have this commitment, but also this, think of a great movie and all the characters. You love when they're winning, and you also really feel for them when there's a part that is just darker or mysterious or not awesome, and they're fighting or warring against this part. So choosing to embrace the journey, embrace the dark parts, embrace the mistakes, embrace the failures, is an act of deep self-love. It is now, once you do that and you come to this place of deep self-love and deep reverence for your journey, your process, and where you are, then as you're approaching life, instead of approaching life as someone who's just inherently wrong and effing up all the time, just screwing things up and always needs forgiveness from the world and from oneself, you're coming from this place of deep respect for, this is a journey and we are in it, and the only way to win is that we're not always winning. Winning in the way that, just getting the goal every single time, and starting from that place already has you come out of the gate with more confidence, more pride, and more likely to win at the game that you've set yourself up to win at, and to play at that level. So thanks for watching. If you haven't joined my 5 days to orgasmic living, activating your femme power to receive more money, love, and nourishment, and you're a woman, please do that. I will put this in the comments. That is going to go up. It won't be a free program anymore. It'll be $147. And it'll probably raise after that, but I am raising that price starting in a month when I start placing ads. So get in there, have a beautiful day, love your shadow, If you have any questions about that, message me and I'll chat with you soon. Bye.